Hello everyone! Welcome to Messy Heart, where we dive deep into troubling accounts and messy relationships, hoping to provide support and advice to those who might seek it. Let's head into our first story. Listen carefully and give us your thoughts on the comments section. Story 1. My boyfriend of 10 years cheated on me, got married, and blocked me. I'm just writing this here because I felt I need to write it down, get it all out of my system. First, I must say I come from a country with a very closed culture, third world, in which some families even dating is considered taboo and forbidden. And sorry in advance if it's too long. I 30F met him 30M in university. We both studied medicine. We were in a friend group and we started dating in the second year of uni. We were both around 19 at the time. We were very close, had similar hobbies and interests, similar family backgrounds, similar plans for the future, and also we had loads of fun when we were together. We never got bored with each other. There was this girl in our friend group during university 2 years younger than us who had a crush on him and made advances towards him. This was about 5 years into our relationship. I talked with him about it, and he promised to limit his contact with him and tell her to stop coming in between us, and I believed it. For context, she would call him whenever she knew me and him were on a date, asking his help with a medical issue, and he would stop the date to go and help her, which I thought was out of his kindness at the time. While dating, we had talked about marriage, and we had decided to get married after graduation and after his compulsory military service had finished. But during his military service, he became depressed and so told me he wasn't ready for marriage. I must add, his military service wasn't terrible. He had shifts as a doctor in the military hospital in our hometown and was home most nights of the month. But regardless, I understood and didn't put pressure on him for marriage, as I also have diathymia and suffered from MDD during university. I tried to be as supportive as possible, didn't even put pressure on him to go on dates or these kind of stuff. Most of the time he said he didn't have money, so I paid for meals and everything else, which was okay with me. Cause at this time in our relationship I considered him like my husband, someone Eve chosen to spend my life with. We had decided to go live and work in Europe, both had taken our IELTS exam, and were in the process of applying for Cork in Europe. He said he wanted to leave the country, we live in a third world country, and have a better life in Europe or Canada. He was more eager than me to emigrate. Further on, during our 9th and 10th year of dating, about 2 years after his military service was finished, he became very distant. We live in the same town, but we only saw each other twice a month. He didn't text or call as much, and we had barely any physical contact. Times and times again I brought up this matter, and he would say he is depressed, he can't handle his life, he can't take care of himself, and so on. I asked him if he still wanted to move to Europe, and he would say yes, he does, and he's trying for it. I believed him, pushed him to see a psychiatrist, supported him mentally, was there for him whenever he had an argument with his family, helped him get shifts at the same clinic I work, which has lighter workload and better pay, covered his shifts whenever he was sick, helped him visit a psychologist and start meds, paid for his car to be fixed, helped pay for a new phone since the old one wasn't working, helped pay for the IELTS exam fee, and so on. But still our relationship became more and more distant. Until about a month ago, that girl I mentioned before called me yelling, saying why was I texting and calling his husband, he has a wife, and so on. That's how I found out. I asked a friend who I had cut ties with, because my boyfriend had said that friend had bullied him before and caused trauma, about this, and he said yeah, these two had been dating on and off for the past 4 to 5 years and had got married last year, but they had held a private ceremony and hadn't invited any of her or his friends, to keep me from finding out probably. And when I confronted him, first he denied, then when I told him I know, he admitted that they had gotten married. When I wanted to ask further, he started saying he has heart palpitation and feels dizzy and so on and needs to hang up. After that he has blocked me on everything, and has arranged his shifts at the clinic in a way that we won't see each other. After asking around from his cousins, which didn't know about me dating him, I found out that they had been dating on and off for the past 5 years or so. And last year the girl had gone to their house unannounced and introduced herself as his girlfriend. His cousins guessed because he wouldn't propose to the girl and wasn't committed to her. His parents are very strict, so they told him he had to marry her and he obeyed. They had got married a year ago, but he still kept seeing me as well, and I don't know why. Now a month has passed and he hasn't apologized, hasn't asked about how I'm doing, hasn't explained anything to me, and hasn't even paid back the money he owes me or returned the books I had lent him. The audacity. What piece of advice would you give to OP? Let us know down in the comments and let's move on to our next story. Story 2. Is my girlfriend being weird or am I insecure? So me and my GF have been together for a year and a half. She started a new job like 8-9 months ago. And there's a guy there which all of the things I'm about to list are about. So it started with when she started we couldn't go 5 minutes without her talking about him constantly, which did annoy me, but just let it slide as I thought new job, it's exciting, etc. But then a couple weeks after we went to the pub, me, her and her maid and I went to the bar to collect some drinks for honestly like 2 minutes, and when I came back they were scrolling through his Facebook, but when her friend noticed I was back she tapped her. And she got rid of it straight away and they changed the conversation. I asked her about it on the way home and she lied and said she didn't know his name, it wasn't his. However, I know for a fact it was as I found it straight after, and when they message on Teams his full name is there, so she defo knows it. Then another time on Teams I saw their messages and she was begging him to speak to her. He didn't reply to her for like an hour, and in that time she spammed him a bit, put, "Why are you ignoring me?" and a gif of babies crying. Another time she actually put just their messages on mute so they wouldn't pop up while she was working from home with me and I wouldn't see. Everyone else's messages would, but just not the ones between them two. She would message him when I would leave the room to go to the toilet or make us breakfast or whatever. I know this because when she left the room I suspected it and saw the times she would message were perfectly when I left the room. She always says all they message about is work, and at work she says she speaks about me a lot. However, I've seen her messages and they speak about everything but work. Now I don't think anything has ever actually happened between them. He's M25, but what I want to know is, am I being weird and insecure, or am I justified to find all of this very weird? I admit some of the things I've said by themselves aren't actually that weird, however I feel when all put together it's very strange. Hope you can help. Share your thoughts with us and let's move on to our next story. Story 3. How can I ask her out? I, 24M, have a crush on my coworker, 25M. I've known her for 2 years now and my crush developed in the last year or so. She's gorgeous, soft-spoken, intelligent, and very feminine. I started realizing I really liked her because I'd start getting nervous around her and because I'd think about her outside of work. Between us, we have kind of a professional relationship, not really anything personal. We both are teachers and we teach similar subjects. Usually when I'm in public, I put on a mask that I'm very confident, but deep down I'm not. I'm currently going to therapy for this so I can change how I talk to myself. Anyways, at the end of my shift yesterday I was feeling very tired and drained. I didn't feel like talking to anybody. All of a sudden at the end of the shift, she approached to talk to me. I was kind of flustered and long story short, I was so fucking awkward. Usually I'm not like this around her, I'm generally more confident because of the mask I put in public. I really want to ask her out for coffee, but I can't muster up the courage to do so, probably because I put her on a pedestal and how I talk to myself. I feel like I get signs from her though. The other day she told me that I'd be such a good girl dad. I usually give off like big brother vibes to my students. I'm funny but also strict with them. By the way, I'm not sure what exactly that means, TBH. She also finds me funny when I am confident and smiles whenever I say hi to her. I really want to ask her out for coffee, but my thoughts are against me. I'm sick and tired of small talk with her. I thrive on deep conversations that are meaningful. Any advice would be appreciated. Share your thoughts on the story as we dive into our next story. Story 4. How to approach removing my fiancé as an authorized user. Hello. I am engaged to be married next year and my fiancé is expecting. For context, I work roughly 60 to 70 hours per week, earning about $70,000 per year, while she works 25 to 35 hours a week, earning $30,000 per year. I split our big expenses like insurance, rent, etc. 66 to 33. She contributes $660 a month for our $2,000 a month rent. Last year I had to get a balance transfer from her personal credit card in my name because she had maxed it at $2,900 without having the income to pay it down. This past February we took a trip to Japan and Korea to visit her sister, and opened another credit card with no foreign transaction fees to make our trip easier. I added her as an authorized user at that time. Unfortunately, to date, she has spent $6,260 on the card, but only repaid $2,601. I have been trying to make up the difference, but it is challenging and I have to work really hard every month to make it happen. These past few months I haven't been able to pay it all down. It's been hanging at around $3,000 to $4,000 since August. It's clear to me that I need to get more strict with finances. However, I am not sure what the best way to break the ice is. I will always make sure she's taken care of and we are able to do things we want to do. I am committed to her 100%. She is the one for me. What's the best way to tell her that I am removing her as an authorized user from the credit card? Any advice would be appreciated. How about that one? Let us have your thoughts and advice down in the comments section. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to check out our other videos and, as always, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Never forget that your smile is your best feature. Wear it proudly. See ya.